Guys, welcome to our third episode of Table Talk Tokyo. I'm here with Tyrone Jones, who is a strength coach, ex-league American football player, Lululemon ambassador, and just an all-around phenomenal athlete, human being. I'm really excited to have him here because he's a personal friend. I've seen him sing live performances. I've seen all his training videos, but I actually don't know that much about him. So I'm really excited to learn more about him. Tyrone, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Why'd you come to Japan?
Job opportunity, man. And it was something that fell in my lap. Like, Japan was never on my radar at all.
We've talked about this a little bit, but it might be helpful to get into it.
Yeah, it was never on my radar at all, man. It was just like I was in the States and I was actually trying to like start up my CrossFit. So the way it was, I was working in an independent gym.
Yep.
And I had been there for a couple years. I was doing like, strength and conditioning with different athletes, just sports performance stuff. I was doing personal training with all ages and everything.
So this is like privately owned gym, not a CrossFit, but just a gym.
Yeah. And we had talked about it like from the time I came. The owner and I were like, we want to get a CrossFit going. We want to get a CrossFit going. And finally we got everything together. Like I was the only one who was like credentialed, to be able to be affiliate. So then we finally was like, okay, and they footed the bill, and then it was just like, it was my CrossFit, it was in my name. And it was, when I think back how like that situation was, it was like so just not, we weren't ready. I know for me on my end, I wasn't ready, and it was a situation where
like to manage people, to manage a schedule.
I mean, everything was on me essentially, like I was what, 24, 25 at the time. And, I still had a full slate of, all my PT clients, and then all of the like, because we did like team training too. So like we'd have soccer teams
and whatever,
football teams,
like
whatever
coming.
So I still had my full slate of that, and then on top of that, I was trying to like build this CrossFit. So I had to program, I had to be the marketing and advertising.
Did you
I
hire?
had to actually coach. No, we and like
so it's just you.
It was literally just me.
Oh, wow.
It was literally just me for everything. And I built a good following, and I had a solid crew. And it was like we were doing that for about a year, and then around that time, my buddy that I played football with in college, he hit me up, and I knew he was working in China. So when I got the call from him, I was like, and then he's like, hey man, I got an opportunity for you. I don't know how you feel about it, but this is what it is. And I was like, ooh. Okay, that's interesting. And like the funny thing is, like when we initially talked, it wasn't a for sure thing that I would go. He was just like, I need a backup guy just in case this other guy says no. So he kind of put the bug in my ear. I think that he called me maybe it was March or something that year in 2016. He called me in March. So then it was March or April. So I was like, okay. And it was just like, that was in my head from there. And then, I'm still working on the CrossFit stuff, at that point in time.
Managing a schedule that's not manageable.
It was madness, man. I think about how, and I was like doing my masters online, and all of this other stuff. So I was like crazy, just working ridiculously. And finally, my buddy got back to me, and he's like, this dude still didn't make up his mind, and that was like 2-3 weeks had gone by. So I'm like really going crazy, like what's gonna happen with this? And then I start like kind of talking myself out of it, like, nah, you know what, like
you don't get your hopes up, and then
I'm just gonna stay here, like keep working on this, blah blah blah, whatever. And I had I started to tell my buddy that. He's like, oh, wait. Just wait a minute. I'm going to talk to this dude, and I'm going to get a final answer from him, because he was like really dragging his feet on whether or not he was going to go. And he was like, I'm going to, put the clamps on him and make him decide, and then I'm going to get back to you very quickly. So I was like, okay. And then my dude got back. He's like, okay, like, he said he's not going to go. It's on you. It's on you now. What are you going to do? And then
are you going to up and pack and move to Japan?
I don't know. so then, like I ended at that point. I started to tell some of my clients and my people that I was closer to. And like I had one client, JJ.
That you were considering it.
My one client, and I actually trained the whole family from the grandma to the kids. It was really cool.
So that's how you get close to the trainer, right?
Exactly. And I'm still close to them now to this day. And I told him, I was like, like I had this opportunity, but I don't know. I'm kind of considering staying here. He's like, wait a minute. you're thinking about staying here? He's like, if you don't take this, I'm gonna kick your ass, man. So that was one of the conversations that's like it sticks out in my mind for sure of being one of those. It was a moment for me to really take a leap of faith because I had never been outside of the U.S. before. I didn't have a passport, bro.
Wow.
None of that. So it was just like you're going in, and then even the sport, like short track speed skating. I didn't know nothing about that.
Wait, so I knew some of this, but I didn't know this in detail. Yeah. Why did this is maybe the dad of the family who told you like you should go do this or gonna kick your ass? I'm not sure who said this, but why did he say that to you? He must have explained. Like I know why. Obviously, now that I'm here, but there are obviously people who maybe have never gotten that push, or they've never had to take that leap of faith, or they've never had to leave their state or the country or whatever, and you ended up making that choice because of a variety of circumstances, but in large part this one kind of compelling moment.
Yeah.
Like why if you guys got into it, why do you think he said that to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was that he knew and understood my potential.
Yeah.
And that was something that we had talked about, time and time again.
Yeah.
Being in a position, like I loved that gym and everything that it could have been, but we just weren't quite there, And I felt like, and he felt like, and many other people would talk to me and they felt like I was destined for a bit more. So it was one of those type of situations where and I can recall multiple instances in my life where I was like in that position, and the people around me like, yo, what are you doing?
Elevate. You need
to leave. You need to go. You need to take that step up. And when I did that, the payoff was like especially like this thing coming here.
Yeah, it's next level, man.
Like it was to this day the best decision of my life, man.
What do you think has been most relevant? It being Japan or living abroad?
Yeah, living abroad. Okay. Just being exposed to different people with different ways of thinking. All of these. I love America, and I'm thankful for my country and everything that is given me and all the opportunities and everything like that. But I also think that nowhere is perfect, and we can easily say that now, looking at the current state of things.
State of affairs.
Yeah, but I just think that like being exposed to just the way people do things in Germany, or the way people do things here in Japan, or just anywhere else, just being exposed to that and seeing that and realizing that like I think we're spoon fed to be like, USA is number one.
Greatest country in the world. Yeah.
It's number one in everything. You can't be number one in everything.
You number one in everything.
You can't.
You can convince people that they are.
Yeah.
But you can't, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not because, man, I can't say that. It's not because like us as Americans don't want to be.
Yeah.
I would love for America to be number one. Like that would be a point of national pride. But
right.
But it's false. Like it's not the case. Yeah, it's unrealistic. It's not you can't be first in everything.
Right.
Man, that makes me really happy to hear you say that.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been like and I've always loved like being in diverse groups and everything like that too. So just that like diversity of opinions and experiences and just
thought is
exactly.
You can't. Once you see things you didn't previously see, you can't unsee them.
Yeah.
I think that's the power of diversifying your circles, diversifying the people you spend time with, and also obviously choosing the right people to spend time with.
For sure. That's huge.
What is it you do for work full time?
I'm the strength coach for the Japan short track speed skating team. I work with the national team here.
Okay.
And everything that we do is in preparation for international competitions and ultimately the Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
And that's what I do, and we have a pretty hectic schedule. It entails a lot of travel, within Japan, but then also internationally, worldwide to various countries. And
this is maybe why you mentioned Germany and Belarus and all that.
Yeah, exactly. That like work took me to those places, and that's one of the things I'm extremely thankful for, because as I said, I had never been outside of the States before. I didn't have a passport, so it was just like I left the U.S. for the first time to move to Japan and live here, and then very shortly after, a few months later, I'm in Canada, then I'm in Germany, I'm in the Netherlands, and I'm just bouncing around the world, and it's been an amazing experience to that doesn't even begin to quantify the emotion and energy I have behind it. But,
I can feel it.
Just say amazing.
I can feel it. Yeah. So if you were, this is usually something I ask later, but if you were going to go back and talk to your earlier self, or talk to somebody like you, 23, 24, 25, trying to make it work somewhere in the States maybe, never left the States, and an opportunity arises like this, what would you say to that kind of person?
Take the leap.
Take the leap.
Jump, brother. Jump and don't look back, man.
Yes.
For real. Because, like I said, I was extremely hesitant.
Yeah.
And there was that like fear sets in, and just that the fear of the unknown that is so terrifying, right? And it doesn't really matter what the setting or the element is, but just that unknown is always just like, should I?
Yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, just the fruits that lie on the other side of that are, man.
It's beyond. It's beyond.
Yeah.
Do you speak any Japanese?
I speak a bit.
Okay.
That's
And when did that start? Did you when the moment you got the call, you thought, I need to learn some Japanese, or when you came here, or did you study Japanese in school?
So I got the opportunity, and it was pretty hasty process of like I took the interview and I didn't have my passport yet, so then they were like when can you be here?
Passport.
And I was like, I gotta get my passport, but I'll be there. I'll be there as soon as I do that. So so it was like pretty quick turnover for me, exiting everything, my job, and then jumping over here.
Yep.
From there, it was like, okay, I have to go to Japan, and I don't know. I knew maybe konnichiwa, and then somebody was like, Ohio is Ohio is good morning, so that's an easy one to remember.
Yeah, Ohio.
I'm from Ohio. Okay, got it. But that was it, man. That was it. And I got there got here, and I had an assistant coach that was going to be there who was bilingual, so she always translated for myself, and the head coach actually was Canadian.
Okay.
And that was a big influence for them bringing me in.
Okay.
He wanted an American,
an outsider.
Yeah, exactly. So it was great to have him. So he had been here for I think 2 or 3 years at that point in time. So he kind of knew the system. He knew the way of doing things. So then I could kind of talk to him, and kind of get the lowdown from a familiar perspective. But then I also had Yuka, who was our assistant coach. And she was Japanese, but she helped to translate everything. So it was good that we had that. Yeah, we had that. The three of us were able to communicate very well.
Okay.
And I really didn't have to worry about learning or understanding the language too much. It was just like I could talk. We basically how we did our weight training sessions. Yuka would come, she'd be there, and then I'd be like, okay, this is kind of what I want to say. Before I would say it, and I'd be like, okay, boom, this is what we got, boom, 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 and then she translate, and then we go.
Amazing. So then, how does communication with athletes work?
Would kind of struggle through conversations, but it
But
was like there was like that common interest of really wanting to get to know each other.
Yes.
And they kind of, I think they felt immediately that I was a person who was gonna bring love, and that's what I was leading with. So it was it made everything smooth. But the language difference was kind of sometimes. But we had Yuka to if we really needed
smooth it out.
Talk, then she could.
You said something, and I feel like it might be relevant. You said I started by leading with love.
Yeah.
I've never actually spoken to anyone who's used that phrase before, but I really like it. What does that mean?
I actually have that.
Love. Yeah.
I really think it's important to understand that concept of love. Yeah. To me, this is my philosophy. Yeah. To me, that is what holds everything together in this world. Yeah. We can talk about money, we can talk about all this other bullshit, whatever. Yeah. But love is at the center of everything to really make the world go round. I feel And the more that we can, lead and act out of love, then the better this world. That's when we can really tap into our potential. It's a selfless energy. Yeah. And when we're doing things for the collective as opposed to having a selfish desire, I think our power, our capability, increases immensely. You know,
when we focus on love.
Yeah.
When it comes to you as a coach, or maybe as a trainer, how do you think that directly ties into the approach? Or is it maybe just something that is conveyed almost through, for lack of a better word, almost like osmosis? It just comes out of you. It just permeates everything you do? Or is there a specific methodology that comes out of that? Yeah, just kind of.
I really do think, because it's nothing that I necessarily have to think about. Yeah. And I feel like I've always kind of been that way. Okay. Just I just want to take care of people. Yeah. Just make sure people are good. and that's
you can feel it. I can feel it. I'm sitting across from you. I can feel it. I think it's felt. What was your biggest hurdle or setback when you came to Japan? So again, you get the call, things are great, you arrive, and then, what was...
Yeah, and I always like to, like in terms of hurdles, I always say, like, one of my things I like to say is, like, there aren't obstacles, there's only opportunities.
Yeah.
So, the Japanese thing I can say is one of those, opportunities for me to really try to, like, I came to, so initially, I think my mindset was looking at it as, a hurdle or a blockade for me to be able to connect with people here, Whereas when I came to the realization that that's an opportunity to really show, again, like that love thing of that transcends all boundaries, cultural differences, whatever. It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
Like you can still...
The way you
connect.
Smile at somebody and connect in a way without words.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, like, now at this point in time, I like, so just to kind of go back to the story of, like, the Japanese language thing. So, like, the first 2 seasons, Yuka was there. And after that, she left. Joe, the former head coach, like Canadian, and Yuka, they both left after we finished the Olympics. So then my thinking was, okay, they're gonna, like, thanks Tyrone, bye. It's been real. We gonna holler at you, know. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But then they were like, no, we want you to come back. Actually, for this next 4-year cycle for the next Olympics. Like, okay. So, obviously that was an honor, and I was, super excited to take on that opportunity. But then, there was kind of an asterisk in there. Like, there's like, we're gonna have you back, but you're gonna be the only foreign coach on staff now, and everybody's gonna be Japanese, and you won't have a translator. So everybody, like, coming into that 3rd season with the team, everybody was like, oh, so what are you gonna do? Like, how you gonna pull this off, man? So then that really, became an opportunity for me to be like, and I said that to the skaters like, as we started that season, I was like, hey, guys. Now, my Japanese isn't great. Some of your English isn't great. But that's no excuse. Let's meet in the middle. We have a common goal. And you know that I care about you. And that's not gonna change. So let's continue to push forward and do our best with this. Okay. Well, we're gonna meet in the middle with the language. And I was like, I'm studying every day. I'm trying to get better. So just bear with me, work with me. And it was like, hey, let's go. Somebody my show. And I was like, all right.
You had to say that not translated. Like, you had to say that basically in English.
Like, and I actually, like, I sought out the help of a few friends. For, like, my friend Seiko, she helped me out. With some stuff. And I had.
You prepared some stuff in Japanese?
I had like I said, most in English. But I had some things in Japanese that I wanted them to say. Like,
amazing.
Yeah. So it was. It was
and that
good.
also shows them he cares enough to prepare some stuff to say to us. We know he's like, it's hard speaking another language. Oh, amazing.
So then from there, and that was what, like, 3 years ago now, I guess.
Okay.
Two and a half.
Okay.
But it's like, since it's just been me and the skaters, and it's just straight, like, one-on-one, and now we kind of, like,
there's a method.
Machine, and it's like we're going and things are smooth,
So the hurdle ties into language. You'd say that probably the biggest hurdle in a nutshell is Japanese. Like communication.
Okay. It's communication, cultural differences. There are things that they do differently than me. Or how, like, from where I come from. Certain things, and sometimes it's a little bit frustrating. You're like, why would you do that? Why are we doing it like that? Why? And then the thing that frustrates me the most about that, I think, is just like there's a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times there's not a clear answer. It's just
because that's the way we do it. That's the way it's always been done.
Always done it. So yeah.
Japan.
It is
amazing. Is there anything in particular that you dislike about either your job or the fitness industry here in Japan, the athletic complex here in Japan, any of those things?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a few things. Yeah.
Okay.
With my job in particular, the difficult part, it's a fun part, especially in the beginning. It was very fun, like the traveling and being on the road and being on the move. It was great for me, But, you know, the longer that I've stayed and the more that I come to the realization of like who I am as a man and what I really, really value, like the most important things for me, love, family, that connectivity, because of the transient nature of my job, my schedule.
It's hard to be grounded.
Yeah. So, you know, like, especially like at the beginning, I didn't really have any friends because I wasn't really in Tokyo as much. And then when I was in Tokyo and I would meet people and it'd be like, cool. And then I'd be back on the road again. They'd be like, hey, bro, like, what you doing this weekend? And I'm like, I'm gonna be gone for the next 3 weeks, bro. But hit me up when I get back, though, you know. And it would be kind of that situation. So that's definitely, you know, a point of frustration. And, you know, honestly, as the years have gone, it's become more, it's risen up to be even more of an issue for me. Just again, I think, you know, the more that you kind of like, and our values and things change over time too. You know, like I was younger, so I was like more in that mode of like just really just being free and just like moving around as much as I could. Like I was really in that mode and just having fun, doing whatever, partying. Whereas now, I feel like I'm like kind of like coming into this more mature place where, you know, I want to be a bit more grounded and, you know, so that's kind of,
I know exactly.
I know you know. I know you know.
Okay.
Like I can relate to you more than you more than you realize,
I really
actually.
get it, man.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I really, really love and appreciate about Japanese culture is it's this sense of like you have a duty to the collective, to serve the collective, you know. And, you know, with that, you know, I think their work society, you know, it has its pros and cons. But I think that the mentality when it comes to work and this carries over to athletics is to, you know, have this presentation of just like doing more, always like I'm in the gym and I'm working and I'm, you know, so I see this with my athletes sometimes, and it's like instead of working, you know, efficiently and smarter and maybe doing a shorter workout, they'll be in there for, you know, 2 hours or something like that and doing something that maybe isn't as beneficial.
And kind of to show face almost instead of to get the result, but to show face.
Exactly. So,
and that comes from Japanese work culture for sure.
So I think that just that trickles over to the athletic field and, you know, even, you know, my football team, and I'm not like criticizing anything that anybody else does or whatever, but I know that like if I was a coach, I would do things a little bit differently in terms of like programming workouts and the way that we do things sometimes
to be more effective instead of to just
efficacy and efficiency. Like those two words sometimes like
get lost
in the mix sometimes. I feel like. And again, it's no disrespect to anybody. It's just, you know, my philosophy, my thinking, my understanding and knowledge of, you know, training, whatever. It's a little bit different from what I see us actually putting into practice here.
Interesting.
You know, I'm not as an athlete and, you know, as a coach, so I'm getting both ends.
So you've experienced that part of Japan that I haven't, because I've never been an athlete here. I've never been like a coach here for a team. So I've always worked with people on a pretty personal level, or I've done small classes. So it's interesting. It's interesting to hear about that side, because I've never been on that side. So like I've actually never heard someone say that, but it makes complete sense. I know Japanese work culture. I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of, you know, staying at the office and doing overtime when you're not actually getting anything done, but you just want to look like you work hard, so you're doing your overtime. And I can imagine that then, again, permeates the athletic complex. You have people who are working out for a long time, but maybe they could have worked out for a shorter time and had been a lot more efficient, but then it wouldn't look as good because you only worked out for 45 minutes, it should have been 2 hours. But like, no, what you needed to do took 45 minutes.
For sure.
So I've never actually heard that side, but that makes a lot of sense. So then that's athletics as a coach and athlete on both sides. So like seeing how you're being coached as well as how coaching is done. And then in your specific field, separately, like time and wanting to feel grounded. And then what does that look like in terms of you doing you in the gym with the athletes? What does that training look like?
We're doing everything to help them, you know, become better athletes essentially. Like that's my philosophy as a strength coach. Like I'm working to help you be a better athlete. You know, the other coaches are going to help you on the ice to be the best skater that you can be. But ultimately, everything we're doing in the weight room, I'm trying to, you know, build you up holistically, you know, not just, you know, physically, but also mentally. Make sure that you're, you know, strong, explosive, flexible, all of the attributes that make you move the best way that you can,
Yeah.
understanding your body, and then from there we can apply that to the ice.
And is that the kind of training you do for yourself?
Yeah. It is. It is.
And so what does that look like relative to bodybuilding or any other philosophy, yoga? What's the difference between maybe what you do versus those things?
Yeah, so
not even versus, but as compared to those things.
Right. So I would say that and again, like my philosophy as a strength trainer, 80% of what we do is going to be the same regardless of your sport. You know, for strength for strength training, that 20% is where specificity comes into play. So we're squatting, we're deadlifting, we're doing our pushes, we're doing our pulls,
cleans.
We're doing our core exercises. There's always something explosive and powerful. So we use different modalities to get that in medicine balls, kettlebells. So yeah, all of that is encompassed in the program. Sometimes we'll have deload weeks where the focus is more just just movement. I'll have lighter weight, sometimes just body weight stuff. Work on a bit of mobility, some animal flow.
Hey, I've seen the videos.
Yeah. I actually love working that in.
Good.
I love
it's
working
so good.
Yeah.
It's
a little bit less of a flow and more so just doing the movements.
Yeah,
but,
crab reach.
Yeah,
just crab
exactly.
Reach a little
but
bit,
I think that's fantastic, and I think the skaters like that a lot too.
Okay.
Especially because the nature of the sport, they're always in this like
hunched over,
so just I think it helps to alleviate some of those issues with the spine and just getting some extension in, which they don't get enough of. So it's good stuff. But like I tried to obviously if we had a scale of like things being tipped one way or the other towards like your yoga practices, whereas this flexibility and mindfulness, and then over here we have more power, strength, heavy work. It's the scale is definitely tipped more this way.
And then
but I think there's an element of that from time to time where I do try to incorporate that in what we do.
Okay. And then this is largely with the athletes, and then as it translates to yourself, like I can imagine there are people out there, Tyrone, how do I look like you? Like, how do I do what you do? What does that actually look like? It's probably, I assume it's similar. It's probably more on the 80 than the 20 side, but and more on the strength side than maybe the yoga animal flow side. But what does that actually look like in terms of like a weekly breakdown or a daily breakdown?
Yeah, so for me, everything
this is where everyone learns the secret of becoming Tyrone.
Yeah, so for me, everything is geared towards the best performance I can have. For football.
Okay.
So with that, and this kind of goes back to the conversation you had with Hide. Just about that continuum of health and wellness and fitness. And performance. So to be like elite level performance, that is not anything that's sustainable.
No.
It's not at all. So
whether you're a sprinter or you're a professional football player, there has to be a bodybuilder. There has to be an on and an off season. You just can't maintain peak fitness forever.
It's not sustainable by any means. So like the stuff that people see me do. And that's why I'm kind of thinking of not necessarily revamping my social media, but just putting a little bit more more balance.
And people might be thinking, does he do this every day or like all the time? You're like,
I mean I do to an extent because I'm in the season where we were a week away from game day. So like that is kind of a daily thing of like really being on it and at it right now. But I can definitely say that my body pays for that. And I get to a point sometimes where you in order to get the maximal benefit of your training, you're kind of like, if this is the line to being like overtrained,
of course,
I'm like
you're on that line.
I'm trying to I'm trying to get get to that as close as I can and not quite overtrain, but overreach. So there are times where I do cross that, and
then you feel it.
And
energy levels drop. You might get sick or you get injured. Small injuries.
Exactly. So I say all of that to say that. That's one of the things I think about the fitness industry. I know that was one of the questions you had too. See how I'm working that in? See how I'm working that in? But that's one of the things about our industry that it kind of frustrates me a bit. I don't even necessarily want to say frustrating, but it's just like I wish like more people understood that some of the stuff that like really looks cool and looks awesome. It's not necessarily the best things that we need to be doing.
It's right here.
So Yeah, some of the stuff I do, like, it's cool, it's fun, it's great, you know. But again,
same.
He like, you don't need to do that. And then like I have a couple like PT clients and stuff like that too that I train online.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, you know, initially starting off, I'm just like, like, I'm not gonna have you do what I do, just, you know, like, because like that's a concern for people. Like, they're like, oh, training with Tyrone, and I'm like, please just trust me as a professional. I'm not gonna make you like do what I'm doing. It's okay, you know. So that stuff isn't sustainable. Like, but of course, like, we can work some of that in. But again, it's gonna be balanced in a way that is, you know, it's ultimately working towards that goal of, you know, wellness and as opposed to like you helping you be the most agile and powerful person.
So the separation I like to use is basically the overwhelming majority of my clients, in fact all of them right now, are what I call GP, which is just general population people. And then you have athletes. You work with athletes on a regular basis as the strength coach. Then you may have like general population clients you work with outside of that. So then you have GP people who might see what you do with athletes and think like, holy shit, I can't do that, or I can't. That's okay. You don't have to do that. If you're a broker, like, you don't need that kind of.
You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. You really don't.
It's just not going to be relevant for your daily life. Or if you're like a stay-at-home mom, like, it's great to build some of that in, but like, you don't need that. Like, you need to be like relatively mobile, have good posture, build some like strength. So yeah, I think getting that across is important, and it's so easy now with Instagram and YouTube to see people who are peak performers. Like if somebody's seeing your Instagram, they'll think like, oh, this is Tyrone, this is how he trains, this is what he does all the time, but it's not exactly the case. That's what you may do. That it may actually be the case for a lot of it, but it's because you're training for
the aim.
The aim is like for American football. Like, this is why I'm training for this reason. But if you're a person with a different goal, you get different needs, then the way in which you get to that result is going to be very different than the way you train or the way I train.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So I think it's important to get across here. Cool. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that full circle.
Yeah.
Tyrone.
My dog.
Fam. Beautiful.
It's good stuff, man.
Guys, thank you for being here for this. This has been profound for me. I feel like we finally had a chance to connect in a way that
really.
just hasn't happened before. And frankly, like, you did a lot of talking, so I'm sorry. We'll have to do this more. So
it's all good.
I can share more.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is really nice. Little did I know his role model was basically the same person as me. His philosophy on leading with love is the same as mine, except I didn't have that terminology. So, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe, hit the notifications button, and give this video a thumbs up, so I know you guys want to see more stuff like this. And please remember also to comment if you've got questions, or if you want to know more about Tyrone, you want to know more about me, his philosophy, whatever. Please comment below, and we'll be sure to answer those comments whenever we can. Thank you guys for participating. Tyrone, thank you for joining. This is fantastic. I love this. This is
good stuff, man.
I love these conversations.
For sure.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.